Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking with Friends. For this session, we're going to do gifts from the kitchen. So since it's December and everybody's thinking about holiday gifts, we thought we would do a session on things that you can make in your kitchen that would be great gifts for friends, family, coworkers, whoever you like to give gifts to at this time. So we're going to do three different things today. I'm going to first make a spicy glazed pecans. We're going to start with that to make excellent gifts. And I was first given this as a gift from my sister-in-law, and we just loved them. So I begged her for the recipe. I'm not sure where she got it from originally, but we're going to do it for you today. We're going to make a pancake mix that is fantastic. It's got whole wheat flour and cornmeal and powdered milk, and you can make the mix and give that away to friends and family. And then the third thing we're going to make is a hot chocolate mix. That's fantastic as well. So I do this every year, and I've been doing it for many years for coworkers and friends and family and just anybody that I'd like to have some gifts for. They could be, part of a large gift in a basket, and we'll show you some ideas, or it could just be a jar of hot chocolate mix in a cute holiday bag. So it's really kind of up to you. So we're going to start with the spicy glazed pecans. I have my pecan halves already measured out, and in this pot I'm going to put the first four ingredients in your recipe, which is the sugar, some cayenne pepper, that's the spicy part, a little bit of salt that I've already measured out, and 3 tablespoons of water. I'll measure that out now. I'm going to give that a little stir around. And what I want to do is bring that to a boil, get the sugar to melt, and then I'm going to add the pecans to it. So about medium-high heat, and once it comes to a boil, once the sugar melts and it comes to a boil, we're going to boil it for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to add the pecans. So we'll give this a minute to get going. These aren't too spicy, but just spicy enough, and the sugar helps kind of calm it down a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to take some butter, and I'm going to butter my sheet pan that we're going to cook these in. So I'll take this part of a stick of butter. These get really sticky, and that's one of the things that you don't want, is for them to stick. So I have my sheet pan here, and I'm just going to take a little bit of butter with a paper towel and rub it all over. So that's ready to go, and my pecans are ready. We'll put that aside. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And I'll move this off to the side. My mixture in the pot is just coming to a boil. And we'll give that a chance to get going. I'll place this here so you can see it. I can see that it's bubbling around the side. And I'm going to let this happen for about 2 minutes. So bear with me for a second. And then we'll add our pecans. For the pecans, I like to use pecan halves because they look prettier. And you can find those in the store. There's always a few smaller pieces in there with them, and that's perfectly fine. But when you go to purchase them wherever you buy your ingredients, this is boiling now. I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes just so I can keep track while I'm talking. So wherever you buy your pecans, just make sure you buy pecan halves. for this recipe. I'm gonna just turn this down a little bit. You don't want it to burn. Just making sure that the sugar is all dissolved. Which it is. Now it's really coming to a boil. So I'll turn it down even more. So for this, you really don't need any fancy equipment. You just need a pan that'll large enough to hold the pecans, and sugar, which everybody has. You probably have cayenne pepper in your pantry, a little bit of salt and water, and that's all there is to it. So we're just going to give this one more minute, which seems like forever when we're talking online. But and this, for packaging these, I like to put them in a mason jar, a canning jar. I think that looks really nice. There are many options, however. There are many, you can find either online or your favorite hobby store, food safe bags. Make sure that they're food safe. Decorated for the holidays, whichever holiday you celebrate. You can put them in a tin, a really pretty tin, and we'll show you a bunch of options at the end once we have everything ready. So I've got 17 seconds left on my timer. And once that happens, I'm going to add the pecans. I'll show you what this looks like. It is boiling and kind of foamy a little bit. You can see in my pot. I'll put this to the side. There goes my timer. So I'll just turn this off. Oven's still on. I'm going to add the pecans. And I'm going to stir them around, making sure they're all coated. You just want to give this a stir. Turn the flame off. I can smell the cayenne. It smells really great. And I think this looks really good. So what I'm going to do now is spread this out on my buttered baking pan. I like to spread them out to prevent them clumping together, but once we take them out of the oven, we'll have to separate them a little bit more. But this helps with the process. And I'm going to put these in the oven, 350 degrees, for about 13 minutes. I know that seems sort of arbitrary, but until they start to brown. So now what I want to do is toast the pecans and get the glaze to harden. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to put this in the oven just like that. And again, I'm setting the timer for 13 minutes just so I don't lose track of time. So, and once they come out, we're gonna make sure they're all separated with a couple of forks and let them cool completely before we package them up. And these, you can make these at least a week ahead of time. I think you could do it even, stretch it by 2 weeks. So it's something you could get done ahead before the holidays are exactly upon us. Also, they're great for Thanksgiving. They'd be a nice addition to your holiday table. I would personally serve them either before with maybe some cheese or after with some desserts. The pancake mix. So also really simple. You have the recipe in front of you. I have everything measured out right here. And that's really all you need to do. So in this large bowl, I have my whole wheat flour and my all-purpose flour already measured. Here I have my cornmeal. I'm using stone ground cornmeal. It gives a nice crunch to the pancake mix. So I'm going to add that. I have some sugar already measured out, just a little sweetness. It's not a ton. We'll add that to the mixture. I have my baking powder, so this will make nice fluffy pancakes, which is what we're all looking for, and some powdered milk. Whole milk I'm using. And I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to give this a stir. I want it to be mixed up really well. You could throw all this in a mixer if you would like. Now I'm making this amount in this bowl is half of the recipe that you have. Just because when I'm filming this, it's a little bit early. What I've been making this for years. When I owned my bakery in Madison, I used to make it and sell it actually. And I make it often for gifts. It makes great pancakes. So once you have this mixed really well, everything's nice and combined, you just want to package it. So this is another thing that you could do in food safe bags. You could do it also in a nice mason jar. So it's one thing to give somebody the mix to make their own pancakes, but you do need to give them the recipe in terms of how to make this mix into pancakes. So, and this is part of your recipe that you have. But what you want to do for this is when you're about to use this in a bowl, you're going to mix together 2 eggs and 2 tablespoons of melted butter, a cup of buttermilk. Just checking to make sure I have that right. Yep. A cup of buttermilk and a cup of the mix. You don't have to use buttermilk. I think everybody really does like buttermilk pancakes. You could use heavy cream or just regular old milk if you don't want to use the buttermilk. But then you'll just whisk that together like you would any pancake mix and cook them like you would any pancakes. I usually do it on a griddle on my stove, but they make delicious pancakes. I can attest to that. And the other thing about this mixture is you can make this ahead of time, way ahead of time. It's just all dry ingredients. I have frozen this mixture in Ziploc bags before, and it freezes just fine, and it turns into great pancakes once you're done with that. But this is also a really simple, delicious recipe for a pancake mix, and a little bit healthier than most. There's more whole wheat flour than there is all-purpose flour, and the cornmeal also adds some nutrition and some crunch. So I think that you'll really enjoy it. So there's the pancake mix, and like I said, this amount in this bowl is pretty big. Was half of what your recipe is. So you can make this in bulk, package it up way ahead of time. It might be nice to do a Thanksgiving weekend if you happen to be off or not working, and get it all ready for your holiday gifts. So there's the pancake mix. Really simple to make and delicious. I think you'll find it. And now we're going to make the hot chocolate mix. So here's my food processor. I'm just using the steel blade. Now, so I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit less than the amount that I'd given you. I'm going to just do 10 ounces of chocolate. I like to use a good quality chocolate. This is Calibo, and it's already, it's mini, actually, chocolate chips. So the grinding goes pretty fast. You can use regular sized chocolate chips. You can use a bar of chocolate that you've cut up. I have a piece, something, there we go. It's kind of up to you, but the smaller the pieces of chocolate that you're using in your food processor, the quicker everything goes, obviously. So that's 9 ounces of chocolate. So I'm adding just another ounce. So here's in terms of the chocolate is concerned, if any of you are lucky enough to live near a Trader Joe's, they have great chocolate. They package them in what they call pound plus bars. I don't happen to live near a Trader Joe's, anymore, but I know many of you do. So I would definitely look for that. It's a great price. It's Callebaut chocolate, which is a great Belgian brand of chocolate. And you know, it used to be several years ago when I bought it, you could buy those large bars. Of course, you'll have to chop them, but you know, they were about $5 for the pound, which is unbelievably cheap. So anyway, here's my chocolates. In here, I'm going to add my sugar to the mixture just because it'll kind of help keep the chocolate from melting from the heat from the motor. And I'm going to pulse it. So what I'm looking for is I want this to be a pretty fine powder because I want it to melt when I add it to the hot chocolate. So I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to just check. And no, I think I'm going to go a little bit longer. And there we go. So be careful when you're opening the top because there'll be some chocolate dust that'll come out after you. So I've got that. I'm going to just grab a strainer. So here I have my chocolate and my sugar. I'm going to pour this into a bowl. I'll bring over in just a sec. We'll move this off to the side. I have my bowl here with my chocolate and my sugar mix. I have some cocoa powder here. This is 2 ounces. Like I said, I'm doing a little bit smaller of a recipe than what you have. And it's a little bit clumpy, my cocoa powder, so I'm just gonna put that through the strainer. So this makes a really nice, rich, hot chocolate. So that just makes it easier to get the lumps out. I'm going to give this a stir. And the other thing I want to add is a little bit of cinnamon. And again, everything I'm using here are like the best quality ingredients I can find. This is Vietnamese cinnamon. I'm using a really nice quality cocoa, good quality chocolate. And again, I'm going to give this a stir, get everything mixed in. And again, packaging up this mixture is really kind of up to you. I mean, I like to do it in, like I said, in jars, mostly because I have a ton of them and I do a lot of canning. Also, you can see what the mixture is inside the jars. And I usually, you know, will attach a label that has what the mixture is and how to use it. Again, the recipe for making a hot chocolate. This couldn't be simpler. You take a cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of the mixture, heat the milk up, whisk in the hot chocolate mix until it's dissolved, and there you go. And again, we'll talk more about packaging in a few minutes once the pecans are done, which have about another minute to go. So I'm gonna move this off to the side. I'm gonna get ready for the pecans to come out of the oven. I have another sheet pan here that I'm gonna put them on. And I have 2 forks to help me separate them. cocoa powder gets everywhere. Turn this over again in case I need to use it. I have about 6 seconds left, so you'll hear the timer go off and we'll pull the pecans out. There we go. Here we have them, nice and glazed. I can smell that they're toasted. I'm gonna put these on another cookie sheet. And, oops, this is the hardest part about making these, is kind of separating them so that you have individual pecans. It's really not that hard. It takes a few minutes. I think you can see me doing this, just so that they're not all clumpy and stuck together. Even if they are, that's okay too. Just pouring them onto the other sheet pan leaves some of that glazed mixture behind. I can see here that all the pecans are really nicely glazed, separated more or less. They harden up pretty quick. And I think that looks great. So just be very careful with the pan that you pulled out of the oven, because this glaze is really hot and you don't want to get it on your skin because it will stick. That's the problem, and burn. So here's my glazed pecans. I'm going to put these off to the side to cool. And once they're cool enough to deal with, we'll package them up. That probably won't be in the duration of this recording, because it does take quite a while, but I'll show you some ideas next. So separating a few others, and I think that looks great. So there we go, glazed pecans, spicy glazed pecans. Now, what I want to do are two things. I'm going to make the hot chocolate, so you can see that. I have my pot here that I'm going to use, a measuring cup, and I'm going to measure out 8 ounces or a cup of milk. My whisk here and my hot chocolate mixture. And my stove is temperamental and I do have to light it. So that's warming up. I have a 1/4 cup measuring cup right here. I'm going to measure out a 1/4 cup of the mixture. I'm going to add that in, and I'm going to stir until the chocolate melts and it's actually hot. We'll let this go for a little bit. Keep an eye on it. I have it on a low flame. I don't want to scorch the milk at all. You might want to, if you're giving this away as gifts, add some marshmallows to it. Last year I was lucky enough to find some really cute snowflake shaped marshmallows that I included in my gift bag, which I thought were really cute and kind of fun. You can certainly make your own marshmallows or just add some to the mix. That would all be perfectly fine. So let's talk a little bit about packaging. I'm going to bring over my supplies that I put together. So here's a basket. You can see it's pretty big. And this, really kind of all depends on, the size of the gift that you want to give, the people, obviously, that you're giving it to. Excuse me. But I have some ideas. So we talked a little bit about food safe gift bags. Here's an example of one that you can either put the mixes, the pancake mix would be great in here, or I don't know if I'd put the hot chocolate mix in here, but the pancake mix would certainly go. That would be great with some, really pretty ribbon to tie it up in. That's one idea. I said before that I like to use canning jars to, let me move this out of the way, to package some of my gifts. So got different size canning jars. You can do large, smaller. The one thing I would recommend about this though is to measure out the amounts that you put in your canning jars so that it's equal to the amounts that you're telling people to use. For instance, I'm saying for the hot chocolate mix, use a 1/4 cup. So, I would, in here, you could fit at least a cup of the mix. So that would be 4 servings. So think of it that way. How many people are going to be having it and how many people that you want to serve. Same goes with the pancake mix. So I think we'll just go ahead and package that up. I have a funnel that's got a wide mouth. These are made for canning jars, and it makes it a little bit easier to fill things. So here we have a hot chocolate mix going in. So that's 4. I can get probably 2 more in here. So 6 servings would be great. These canning funnels are great because they keep the lip of your jar relatively clean. You can package it up just like that. Feeling like my hot chocolate is looking nice and melted. So let me pour this just so you can see. One of my cups here. I'm gonna turn the flame off. And I'm just gonna, and you can see that it's nice and hot. And I'm just gonna pour that in. And you can serve yourself and your guests a nice cup of steaming hot chocolate. Doesn't that look great? So in my basket, so here I have the hot chocolate mix. So one of the things that I like to do with this is you can find all kinds of really great labels that you can add to your jar to say what it is. I do like to put the ingredients of the mixtures in. So for here, I would put chocolate, cocoa, cinnamon, and sugar. And then on the back, give the instructions for how to make the hot chocolate with it, just in case there's people that you're giving this to that have some food sensitivities. It's always a nice thing. Also, especially with the pancake mix, in case there's some gluten issues or whatever, it's always a good idea to include the ingredients as well as the recipe for making it. So that's, lots of really great labels that you can use that you can write on. You could make your own on the computer. You can find lots of canning jar labels, templates for them on the computer, and you can use that. It's really kind of up to you. Any of your hobby stores like Michael's have, and I'm pretty sure that's where I got most of these from. So they have that too. Here's another food safe bag, so a little bit smaller that you can use colorful ties to tie, or just some raffia perhaps looks nice if you want to keep it natural. You can tie that around your jar, tie it onto your labels. It looks really pretty. I always like to include some evergreen, something natural. This is boxwood from my garden. This will stay green. You might have arborvitae or something like that you can use to snip off a piece, and or some kind of fern just to tie it on. It looks really pretty that way, and keeping it natural. I would go all natural, maybe use the craft paper labels with that and some raffia. I think that would look fantastic. Tons of small bags that you can put your jars in. If there's somebody at work that you want to give a little something to, these work great. So there's no end to the ideas, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you all about how to do this. Some really pretty tins, holiday tins that you can use. Maybe this would be great for the pecans to include as a gift for someone. This was a gift to me several years ago. And then the basket. I do really like to do baskets for people, and there's just all kinds of creative ways that you can do this. In this one, I have a nice holiday towel. This one happens to have gingerbread people on it that I line the bottom with. I'm going to include a tin with my pecans. I might also include some cute spatulas. This would be great for the pancake mix, and maybe another kind of spatula. This one happens to have a holiday decoration on it, which would be nice to include. Because we're doing the hot chocolate, I thought a really great mug or two, depending on who you're giving this to, would go really well in here. And because of the pancake mix, maybe a small jar of maple syrup to be included with that. So there's all kinds of things. You can fill it up, with all your jars, all your ingredients. And I think that actually makes a really lovely gift. So here's 3 ideas for things that you could do for the holidays. And the best part is you can do them ahead of time, which is always important. I mean, I know you're like me and you get really busy, and in my family, we celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas. So there's always that rush to have some gifts ready to go. Whether you're visiting, and hopefully we'll all be able to do that this year, or for, like I said, for your coworkers or neighbors, friends, whoever you like to share with. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much to the friends for making these recordings happen. I'm going to wish you all a happy holiday season. Stay safe, and if you're not a member of the Friends, please join. We all need more friends. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.